The body count went up by 1 yesterday when I got a note from a woman in Texas who I won't name just yet because there's some more conversations I have to have with her about how to proceed. And we're a little concerned with, doxing from the broader Wim Hof community who does not want to believe that this is a real thing that is going on. I have a few things that I want to talk about today. One, there's some Belgian newspapers that have suggested that this is a feud between me and Wim Hof, and I need to address that very specifically. But the other thing that I want to do is just talk about what these numbers actually mean, what these 18 deaths that I have recorded actually mean. But before we get into that, I'm going to read you the email that I received yesterday to put a little bit of the personal side of this story into perspective. She wrote me and she said, my son had died. She sent me some photos of her son, and I said, look, I'm really sorry to hear this. Can you give me more information, because I need to sort of verify and understand exactly the events that led up to his death. And she wrote, yes, of course. He went to the pool with his mom. I'm actually his grandmother, but I helped my daughter raise him since he was 19 months old. He started doing the hyperventilating. She was watching him, but he told her not to watch him. Hof says it's very safe, and he does this technique on his website. She swam to the deep end, and when she was swimming back, she didn't see him. She looked under the water, and he was at the bottom of the shallow part of the pool. She swam really fast and pulled him out of the pool and started CPR. He was already dead. A gentleman gave him CPR until the paramedics arrived. They worked on him for an hour, but to no avail. He got transported to the hospital, where they kept working on him for another hour. There was never a pulse nor a heartbeat. He'd been underwater no more than 10 minutes. He was 6'2" and so health conscious, the poster of health. He would never even take an aspirin if he had a headache. He was a piano player, wise beyond his years, sensitive and kind to everyone. He built his first computer at 15. He chose to invest in Bitcoin instead of going to college. He was starting to do day trading. He was building a bot to take over the trading. He knew physics, theology, science, philosophy. Carl Jung was one of his favorites. He was humble and kind beyond this world. He made enough on Bitcoin when he was 20. He was able to purchase a house in cash for him and his ill mother. And the egocentric, self-grandiose teaching of an irresponsible maniac took this beautiful soul. This man has to be stopped. He has no remorse. He is a sociopath. He thinks he is God. I'm aware of the death of another beautiful soul, Madeline Rose Metzger, but God only knows how many more. Please, anything I can do to stop these innocent deaths, let's stop him. This happened on Monday, July 17th, 2023. These are the emails that I am getting really, really frequently since the video came out, which is the rise and fall of the Wim Hof Method. That came out on the 26th of June. Since then, 3 American families have approached me, and there's one other case in the UK, which looks very, very likely. I've had about 7 conversations with family members of people who have died doing the Wim Hof Method. They all sort of follow this similar pattern. Somebody gets the idea that the Wim Hof Method is safe. They see Wim doing it in the pool. They do it in the pool and they drown. Okay. That is what is happening. Now, if we look at the 4 cases since my video came out, and we assume that I am not capturing every single death that has occurred since the beginning of when Wim started teaching this, the real question is, how many people are actually dead? How many people did not make my list initially? The answer to that is really, really hard, because you're looking at data where you just don't have an answer. However, if we extrapolate that rate of 4 deaths in a month, we move that back for, say, about 7 years when Wim has been super famous, that comes to about 336 deaths from the Wim Hof Method. That, I think, is a fairly decent ballpark estimate of what the true death total might be. Again, I can't prove it. It's an educated guess based on extrapolating the rates. It's sort of like doing epidemiological data with very few data points to look at. But I don't think it's an insane number. I think it's intensely possible. I think that the cases that are coming to me, it's a through are come through very unlikely channels. So the other thing that I want to address is this thing that people are writing all of the time on the comments, probably in the comments in this video. Honestly, if you look in the comments that are going to be here after this live is over, you're going to see them and they're going to say, Scott Carney, this is absolutely a feud. You have a personal vendetta against Wim Hof and the way Enahm Hof treated you, and you're trying to get rich off of this because your book sales are down. That is what the general critique is from people within the who are close to the Wim Hof method. To this, I must respond in a few ways. If this was about money for me, I would make a lot more money agreeing with Wim on everything. I've spent about $10,000 reporting on this story. I have made on my YouTube ads, I think I made $300 last month on my YouTube ads. Maybe it was 400, which puts me about $9,500 in the hole. This is not about money for me. I'm losing fans. The people who love Wim, they're writing me a message that they're burning my books. It's not about money. So the question is it a feud? Am I trying to go attack Wim because I hate Enahm? No, I didn't like Enahm back in 2013 when I first met him. It was, sort of incidental. I am an investigative reporter. I check my facts. I go through legal review. I go through independent fact checking. I am doing this because people are dying. That's it. People are dying. I am reporting on the truth. I reported on the truth when I first met Wim Hof, and I was surprised at his method work, and I gave him a chance, and I was surprised by the amazing health benefits, and my life got better. Okay, those are facts. I reported on. Now I am reporting on the facts that people are dying, and no one is recording this information. So I'm reporting on it, and now you know. I also want to note that there are a lot of people in the Wim Hof method who believe that merely talking about this stuff damages Wim, damages the message of helping people around the world, and that maybe the body count is irrelevant. Maybe the body count doesn't matter because Wim has helped so many millions of people. Look at his follower count. He has 6 million followers. These people are doing the Wim Hof method, and it's making their lives so much better. Well, I have written 2 books about that. The Wedge and What Doesn't Kill Us. I've written about the amazingness of the method. I got about 250,000 people into the method. I am well aware of the benefits. That said, I'm also well aware of the deaths. And you cannot tell a story about Wim Hof, you cannot tell a story about a health movement without looking at the contraindications. And the Hof method hides these. They say that they put warnings on their website, and that is enough. It is enough to do the warnings. And then once you have the warning there, Wim can do whatever he wants. He can actively teach hyperventilation in water, and it doesn't matter because people should have common sense. They should have common sense, and that they shouldn't do it because everyone knows you shouldn't hyperventilate in water. But there, in my opinion, there is nothing obvious about a technique that makes you hold your breath longer when you're studying from somebody who has gotten several world records for holding his breath under ice, who's teaching you a technique. The common sense is that whatever that dude is teaching you, when it's called the Wim Hof method, that you should do what he does. In another video that I have, I think it's called Bad Breath. It's also was one of my live videos. You can see, I think it's 5 or 6 instances of Wim actively teaching hyperventilation in water. So that's my case. That's where I'm coming from. That's why I'm doing this. And, frankly, yeah, I don't like Enahm, but that is irrelevant. That is irrelevant to why I am doing this. Uh, I am doing this because there are facts and we are reporting on the facts. My job as a journalist is to report on facts. Okay. Somebody has been writing in the comments. I'm going to address the comments and then I'm going to log off. Focus, focus. Uh, he says it feels very personal. And it should just be an adjustment in safety precautions. And he also says, much love for those deceased. I don't think Wim believes he's a god, but he's definitely a scandal. It's an old teaching called Tumo. Again, these deaths are for practicing while in the water. This needs to be clarified consistently. Not just emotionally charged hyperbole, using people who wrongfully practice the method to take this foundation down. We're here for Wim, not his son. So these are, I mean, that's the standard one, sort of a lighter critique than I usually get here. Wim does teach in water. Wim teaches hyperventilation in water. I have documented this time and again. It doesn't matter if there are warnings on the website, if the warning is right below Wim actually hyperventilating in water. It is irrelevant. You watch the video, you don't always read the comments. Maybe you, dear watcher, have not read the comments down there below. Maybe you haven't read what I have written down there. Maybe I've hidden some sort of secret warning in there and exposed my true malicious intents. You haven't done that. You've just listened to me talk. When you broadcast your message out to hundreds of thousands and millions of people, you're going to send the message to some of those people to do the practice that you actually demonstrated. When Wim does these practices, when he goes on the BBC and he says, hey, I'm going to hyperventilate now and I go swim under the sea ice, that is a suggestion to people to follow his example. Okay, one Cold Man just asked, what do you think about the GOTUS videos of Wim Hof? I think they're hokey and they're not really accurate. I think that guy has no understanding of physiology, and he's sort of a comic trying to get views on this. GOTUS, I don't think, understands at all what is actually going on. And if you want to look for somebody who is some sort of like pointless grudge, it's probably him. The only thing I like about him is that at least he's giving a critique. At least he's out there giving a critique in the world that people can actually maybe think there could be an issue with Wim. But I don't think he actually knows what he's talking about. So that's my thought. Thank you so much for watching this video. I have another video coming out in a half an hour, and I'll be in the chat. It's about the ex-evangelical movement. Josiah Hesse grew up in a conservative Christian movement. He learned to speak in tongues. He witnessed exorcisms. He saw his family's fortune get frittered away on private jets for his priest. It's a pretty awesome, intense video, and I don't mention Wim Hof's name even once. So, which is really what my hope is, that I can actually move on from this and stop talking about Wim Hof. That would be my dream. See you guys in a half an hour. And, like, rate, review, all the things that you're supposed to do. Help get this message out into the world. I really appreciate you guys for being here.